You decided you're going to live your life for the world. We live in this natural world, but God lives where? In a supernatural world. And that's where we have to be. Would you agree with that? My children are in the 3rd and 5th grade, and each week they get a spelling test. And I've told them, you have the answers to the test. A B, a C is not acceptable. If you study, you will get an A on the test. And so every week the challenge is for my 3rd grade boy, Parker, and my 5th grade daughter, Bailey, is they want to get an A on the test. And a little motivation, it's called money, and they don't seem to like dollars anymore. They like $5, seems to help. But you know what? You motivate your employees with money, don't you? Why not a 3rd grader and a 5th grader? Now, they seem to want iPods and different things nowadays, but, we'll have to work towards that. But each week we study to show themselves approved so they get the A. We artists do the same thing in our businesses, in our careers, at home. I've been married for 14 years. I still write my wife love notes. I still give her notes. The day you stop doing that is the day someone else may be writing the notes. I didn't get married to get remarried. I got married to stay married. How about you? I'm sorry to say that Christians have a high divorce rate just like the world. That's a shame. And I didn't go into business to one day wake up and realize that my wife had left me. And granted, God will restore broken marriages, and things do happen. But 2000, I realized something. It's no fun to be on the road doing windshield time, as I called it, traveling all over the United States doing insurance adjusting. And I was good at it, making 6 figures. But I realized, you know what? At what price is it going to cost me? And so quickly, the Lord brought an idea and an opportunity to Heidi and I, and we bought our Show Homes franchise in 2000. We then moved to Little Rock, and as I said earlier, we've been faithful there for 6 years, and now we're about to celebrate our 1st year anniversary in Memphis. God is a good God. God wants to promote us. God's desire is God's desire is to position us for promotion. But the only way that He can position you for promotion is if you're listening to that still small voice inside of you. God's principles of promotion will work for any of us if we apply them. In Luke 16:12, Jesus says, if you are honest and faithful in the small jobs, He will put you in charge. If you are not honest and faithful in small jobs, who will put you in charge of the store? And so I challenge you again today. If you're not faithful in the little things, how can you expect God to do more in your marriage, in your children's lives, and in your business lives? Whether you own a business or don't own a business. Do you show up early? Do you stay late? It's the little things, as I tell my Ben Summit group, that will make you successful. Too many times we forget those little things that got us to the level of where we are. Would you agree there? Yes. It's the little things. It's showing up early, staying late, washing a window here, washing a window there. I tell my men, the more problems I solve for others, guess what? The more money I will make. I don't mind being the behind-the-scenes person. It still pays me the same. I've got sales reps that work for me. My job's no longer to be the salesperson. My job's to be the motivator for my 4 and 5 salespeople out there in the field. My role has changed. I still enjoy the sales part, and we're good at it. But both my wife and I have realized for us to grow our businesses, we have to what? Delegate. Give responsibility to others. And the bottom line is I don't care how they get the job done as long as they get the job done. And if they can't get the job done, it's time for what? Training. If they're training, if they will allow you to be trained, then we can do something. The day that we stop studying, the day that we say, you know what, I can't be teachable anymore, is the day once again that you've decided what? You're going to live a life of comfortable. And I'm challenging you today, those IFCB members, we've got a lot more to do. We just celebrated 20 years, didn't we, Don? And that's a great step, but we've only just started, correct? We've only hit the iceberg. We've only touched the top, or what is it, the iceberg? The tip of the iceberg, excuse me. We got much more to do, and we need your support. We need your help. My my round table that I facilitate and lead in West Little Rock is great. We've got 6 to 8 men that show up regularly. But I'm challenging them, hey, I don't want you to be comfortable. I'm wanting you to start another round table. There's more for you to do. As leaders, we are to lead others. As leaders, you are to lead others. Smith Wigglesworth said, "I am not moved by what I see or feel. I am moved by what I believe." And so I ask you today, what do you believe? What do you believe? What are your dreams and what are your goals? What is your purpose? You need to find your purpose, and you need to ask God to help you in discovering what your purpose is. I believe that our purpose changes in life, that our dreams and goals also change. But as you reach higher and higher goals, we have to continually walk in His presence. I tell my men that you may only need to pray 15 minutes a day to make $50,000 a year. But I guarantee you, as you continue to make more and more money, you're going to need to be spending more time in the Word and in prayer. When we are faithful in what God has called us to do, nothing is impossible. People who are successful have a single-minded purpose. What is your purpose? If you believe you could not fail, if you really believe that nothing was impossible, what would you try to do? Can you answer that? Because God is a God of makes the impossible possible. God can turn your faith around. If you believe in Him and trust in Him, He will do all that you desire and ask of Him. He's asking you to ask Him. Too many times, men, I think you forget that He is ready and able to do anything that you ask of Him. But too many times we're quiet. We don't speak those things out. We need to speak out. Purpose calls us to be anchored. Purpose causes us to be balanced. Purpose causes us to be focused. My wife says that I am very passionate about my business. Well, who wouldn't be when you're putting 60, 80 hours in a week? I've got purpose in what I do. Have purpose in what you do. Through prayer is how we find our purpose. Through studying the Word is how we find our purpose. And when you know your purpose, you can live a life without limits. Nothing will be impossible. If you want God to assist you, ask Him. I constantly pray and seek His wisdom and directing in everything that I do because I'm expecting everywhere I go to prosper. Everywhere I set my foot upon, wherever I put my hand upon, is to prosper. You know, it doesn't mean that I have to pray specifically at 7 a.m. in the morning or 6 o'clock at night. I am asking for His wisdom and direction daily, hour by hour. Because as I answer the phone, I want the wisdom of God to be there so that I can impart answers to the questions that they have. We need to have the answers to the questions that the men and women of this world have. They're calling on us because they see something inside of us. If they're not calling on you, I question your Christianity. Ouch. They told me to be nice today. I'll try to be nice. But if you aren't being a leader, what are you here for? I'll end with this. We are not to live for the dot. And maybe you read about this. We're not to live for the dot, but we're to live for the line. The dot represents our present life on this earth. The line extends from that dot and goes on forever. We are to live for the line. That line is eternity in heaven. The person who lives for the dot lives for the treasures on this earth. Like I said, I live in a nice house and drive a nice car, but those are just material things that will wind up in a junkyard, in a trash heap. I want the blessings that are holed up for me in heaven. What treasures do you have laid up for you in heaven? I have a question for you. What are you living for? Are you living to play golf this morning, Jeff? No. I'm living here because an opportunity presented itself, and as a successful businessman, as a leader, we are to take every opportunity. Last week I was in Arnold, Missouri, speaking at the Arnold Days prayer breakfast that IFCB was the sponsor of. I was privileged and honored to be there. But if I hadn't accepted the opportunity, guess what? The Lord's going to find somebody else. As the Lord presents opportunities to you, you have two choices. Either accept it or decline it. But the Lord's going to find somebody to do it. And if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. And at that point, don't be upset if God